Hello beautiful creatures of the world and welcome to this video. Today I am with a guest.
Hi, it is me.
And today we're going to do something fun. We're going to talk about a conspiracy theory. And this conspiracy theory is that Courtney Love killed Kurt Cobain. So not exactly the freshest topic, but you know.
We actually just got done watching this documentary called Soaked in Bleach on Netflix.
We had a Netflix and chill night.
It was very good. I recommend watching it just because it was very interesting and it brought a lot of things into perspective.
It did. I think it's... Anyone who's seen that movie, you'll understand this really well. I think it'd be really funny to do a video where, like, watching the video and it, the movie and it shows us and we, live tweet Courtney Love the entire time.
Just, at Courtney Love,
okay, can you explain this? We're not completely accusing you right now. We want to hear your side of the story.
We want your side of the story.
You know, when you're not high on heroin.
I think... I don't know, I really liked the movie. It was very, very interesting because, everybody knows kind of the whole story behind Kurt Cobain, that he was, suicidal, and then he committed suicide, and then they found his body. But, the documentary brings up a lot of valid points, and a lot of things that just kind of seem suspicious and don't really add up, so...
Something to remember, this movie is very much, it was made to definitely kind of accuse Courtney Love of this. It was definitely made to make you think that she's guilty of this. And so we're not like, oh my gosh, we saw this hour and a half movie, so now we're convinced. It did bring up some things that were okay, that is weird.
Yeah, and it really causes you to stop and question for a few minutes, just because the points that they do make in the film are, quite convincing. And so it really makes you think, and that's why I was so interested in it. Plus, it was about Kurt Cobain, and I'm a pretty big fan of Nirvana, so yeah, it sparked my interest.
And actually, how we met, many years ago, is you said you liked my Cobain shirt, and then we ended up walking back to your place, so... What up, Five Sauce reference?
I don't know what I did. I've created a monster.
Yeah, this girl's the one who got me into Five Sauce, so all those Five Sauce videos, you can thank her for those, because...
But yeah, I think one of the biggest things that it definitely, the movie definitely wanted you to feel like Courtney was the one who did it, and I'm not saying that I think she did do it, but it definitely doesn't seem like a suicide after watching that. There's just so much things that just don't add up about it, and how there's so much stuff that's so secretive. There's only so much stuff that was leaked out, and only so many photos, and how the coroner's report was private, so nobody can view it, and all that stuff. And then they say that he had so much heroin in his system, and there was no possible way that he could have shot himself, because he would have eventually passed out from all the heroin that was in his system. And so for him to write a suicide note and then proceed to shoot himself with all that heroin in his system, it just seems, it makes you really stop and think, because it's not even just about Kurt Cobain, but there's also the whole Marilyn Monroe. Nobody really knows how she died. A lot of people think it was a drug overdose, but then a lot of people also think that she was murdered. So it's kind of like that too with Kurt Cobain, because it's a never-ending thing, because it could have been a suicide, but it could have just as easily been a murder too.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things about it is, this is gonna be kind of hard to follow if you haven't seen the movie Soaked in Bleach, but that's what it's called, right?
Yep.
But the Seattle Police Department, because, it took place in Seattle, at his house in Seattle. So one of the things, the police department's been, really secretive and made, a bunch of mistakes while initially investigating. So it's almost if I wanted to take my conspiracy theory a step further, I would say Courtney Love paid off the police department to, like, make all those mistakes. So that, like, it gets rid of evidence that could have been used against her.
One thing that I found especially suspicious is when Tom, the private investigator that Courtney Love specifically hired to find Kurt Cobain, because Kurt Cobain was, like, MIA, and nobody had heard from him or seen him. And so Courtney hired this private investigator named Tom. That was his name, right?
Tom, yeah.
And when Tom first heard that Kurt Cobain had been found dead, he arrived at the house or cabin, whatever it was. It was like a cabin in Seattle, I believe.
Cabin in the woods.
Yeah, and he arrived there, and the police, the Seattle police, and the head investigator, they were all there, and Tom wanted to speak with the head investigator and say, like, you know, I was just here the night before, I didn't see anything, blah, 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 blah. And the head investigator turned him down and wouldn't talk to him at all. And that's, like, one of the things that I thought was really, really suspicious, because being an investigator, if somebody approached you with some news like that, you would want to definitely sit down and talk with them and interview them and see what they had to say about it.
Right, like, if there's a dead body in a house, and someone's like, I was in this house last night, you think that they would want to speak to that person no matter what. Yeah,
you think that would just be, like, an instant, like, oh, hey, you're coming with me, we're going to talk about this, we're not going to let you go.
We're going to get some Chick-fil-A and speak, like.
Yeah, we're going to get some Starbucks, and we're going to sit down and have a talk. But
I love how you went to Starbucks and I went to Chick-fil-A. That says a lot about us as people, I feel like.
Well, there's not even a Chick-fil-A anywhere around here.
We're getting one, though.
Are we?
This spring, yeah.
Oh, the more you know.
But I want to thank you for watching this. This is just part 1. There's going to be part 2 for sure. Maybe part 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Who even knows? It might be this channel, another channel. I'll link it below. If it's not up, like, by the time that this is posted, then I will, like, mention it in the next video that I post after the part 2 is up. So it will be linked somewhere. I will put the link in this video once it is up, and in the video that I post explaining that the next video is up. But I want to thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Love y'all. Deuces.
And just a side note, I would firmly suggest viewing it if you haven't, because that will make everything that we're saying a lot more. You'll understand it a lot more, just because we're referencing the film specifically, Soaked in Bleach. It's on Netflix. It actually has a pretty high rating. I think it was done really well. It was really cool. They had, it was a reenactment, but they also had, like, actual, like, cassette tape footage of, like, phone calls thrown in there, and they interviewed, like, Kurt's friends and his, like, childhood friends and his neighbors and family friends and stuff. And so yeah, it's a really good documentary, really cool, and I suggest that you all view it for your sake and ours.
And subscribe for your sake and ours. Bye.